Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, the Prime Minister stands firm against oil drilling in the country. Why the Prime Minister says a recent increase in COVID numbers was expected. Plus, education officials say they're pleased with national exam results. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says he's completely against oil drilling in Bahamian waters. His statement comes as environmentalists push to stop plans for exploratory oil drilling 90 miles off the coast of Andros. Kyle Joaquin was in Abaco today where the Prime Minister made the comment and has more.
While here in Abaco, we asked the Prime Minister about the hot-button topic of oil drilling. He said, for the record, he is against it. There's a lot of concern regarding exploratory oil drilling right now as it stands in the country. Where do you stand on this issue?
I am totally against oil drilling in our waters. Totally.
It's a statement many are likely to find stunning. The Prime Minister declaring that he is totally against drilling for oil in Bahamian waters. But it comes as Bahamas Petroleum Company plans to start its exploratory oil drilling within days after receiving environmental authorization from the Minnis administration back in February. The drill ship, Stena IceMax, is expected to arrive in the Bahamas any day now. A coalition of local and international environmental groups wants to block the drilling and is seeking an injunction to block the exercise while that review takes place. Minnis explained today that this isn't something his government wanted nor supported.
Unfortunately, we were saddled with an agreement that we met there, and when we discussed it with the legal department, we were advised that the commitment, everything was signed, basically, and we could not get out of it.
Yesterday, Attorney General Carl Bethel said the government's lawyers are set to challenge the environmental group's bid to stop the exploratory oil drilling. The coalition insists that the approvals granted to BPC by the government were unlawful for various reasons, including what it called a lack of public consultation. But BPC, which initially received licenses from the Bahamas government over a decade ago, has had several extensions granted and insists that its planned exercise is indeed lawful. But despite him saying government was unable to get out of it, here's what Minnis said he would like to see happen.
I feel somewhat different, that if we could have devised a plan led by the UN so that every nation is involved, so that we can protect the waters, not only the Bahamas, but Florida, the Caribbean, etc. We can protect our marine resources, and you declare those waters some marine protective areas.
Minnis says having an international body like the UN involved would assist in ensuring there is a rule for the entire region.
Once it's under the auspices of the UN, it also means that you must set up a center to monitor it. And if it was generated from the Bahamas, I hope that such a center, the home base, would be set up in the Bahamas, and it would benefit not only the Bahamas but the entire region.
Minnis says the move would call for Marine and patrol officers who would more than likely be stationed in the Bahamas. He said this would even help the region when it came to issues like poaching. But his wish, he said, would ultimately have the United Nations get involved and not allow anyone to drill in Bahamian waters.
Because then you would have involvement of Cuba, the other Caribbean nations, all who are part of the UN, but also mean if the home base is in the Bahamas, then it means that the workers must also be a part of the entire UN conglomerate. It meant that individuals from different parts of the world can work there also. That's my dream, not to drill in our waters.
Drilling is expected to start before the end of the month. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
In other news, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is dismissing suggestions that the country reopened too quickly, insisting the government anticipated a slight increase in COVID-19 cases, giving the increase in international travel in recent weeks. Jasmine Brown reports.
The Prime Minister made the comments on the sidelines of a tour for the Hurricane Hole development as he revealed the government kind of expected an increase in cases thanks to the tourism industry reopening.
We knew and we had anticipated that we would see an increase at least 10 to 14 days after what's that big holiday you have in the U.S.? Thanksgiving holiday. And now we're seeing it's 10 to 14 days post, so we expect a slight increase because of the amount of Bahamians that would have traveled there. Obviously, some would have become infected.
The Bahamas again recorded double-digit COVID-19 cases on Wednesday when the Ministry of Health confirmed 38 new cases. Of that figure, 20 cases were reported on Grand Bahama, 15 on New Providence, 2 on Exuma, and 1 in Bimini and Cat Key. The cases on Grand Bahama include 7 individuals who tested positive for the virus while on board a cargo vessel sailing in Bahamian waters near the island. The increase comes following a flatlining of cases.
We were prepared for it, and we would deal with it appropriately so as to avoid any form of third wave.
The Prime Minister's comments come as some of the country's largest hotels and resorts are set to reopen their doors this month. On Thursday, Atlantis welcomed guests back for the first time since March.
Those Bahamians that have returned to work to Atlantis, they'll be returning to Point, they'll be returning to Bahama, that they themselves must display some degree of discipline and responsibility. It means that you cannot work in an environment and then as you leave, just go party for all.
While he offered advice to hotel workers, he also commented on the recent advice given by former Prime Minister Perry Christie, who told the press on Thursday that there needs to be a bipartisan approach to fighting the pandemic.
He's absolutely right when he said that there should be unity. And we have reached out on many occasions, the medical fraternity, that is the medical community, the grouping that's dealing with the pandemic. Their presentation, we've invited the opposition to participate in the presentation the same time as we were informed, which meant that they would have had just as much information as we would have, and they could have given their insight at that particular point in time. They refused to come, so I hope Mr. Christie would talk to them.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Meanwhile, Christmas came early for 24 Abaconians who recently received long-awaited title deeds to Crown land. In 2019, 56 residents received the title deeds, bringing the total to 80. The grants were given during a ceremony in Crossing Rock, Abaco this afternoon. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says those residents have waited too long.
For those who are patiently waiting to receive papers to your property, I encourage you to remain steadfast. I am advised that additional grants are being prepared, and they too will be awarded to residents of Crossing Rocks very, very soon.
According to Minnis, government is set to grant more title deeds for Crown land throughout many other islands. The 24 Abaconians who received their grants today were overjoyed.
Long time waiting, man, but good come to those that wait, and we are thankful for the Prime Minister who made this day possible for us, that he can give us our grant, and everybody's excited.
It feels good. I want to thank God. I want to thank the Prime Minister and everybody who had the opportunity to give me it. I want to thank God for that.
I love it here in Crossing Rock.
So you live here in Crossing Rock?
Yes, sir.
Right,
live here, and I'm building a home here now. So I guess I'm going to stay here now forever.
Minnis also announcing government has identified an area in his constituency for the development of a new upscale community where young professionals can purchase property valued at $150,000 for only $50,000.
An upscale community would be developed there where individuals, upscale community with swimming pool, community center, etc. And that would be designated for the young professionals. Many of our young professionals find it extremely difficult to get started because lots within New Providence, land in New Providence, for those in Abaco that don't know, land in New Providence are $120,000 and above.
In other news, exam results for the 2020 Bahamas Junior Certificate and the Bahamas General Certificate of Secondary Education are out. Minister of Education Jeffrey Lloyd says he is pleased with the exam results. However, due to COVID-19, there was a decrease in the number of students sitting the examinations.
They've been on my desk for a day and a half now, and we are reviewing them right now. And the initial review, I would think that I am pleased. Obviously, it's been affected by the pandemic and Dorian, and so you will see that the numbers are less than ordinarily, and that's expected. But in terms of the percentage in terms of the performance itself, all things considered, we're okay.
Lloyd says he doesn't expect any change in the current D average.
There are 8 grades in this, and the midpoint is a D. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, U. And it's not fair for you to make that comparison as if to suggest to the nation that we have a D average student body who takes these exams, when in truth and in fact, you're comparing an old system, an old regime, an old paradigm to a new one. It is not fair. A D under the general GCE certificate system was poor, almost failing. A D under this system is average.
A beautiful, breezy evening outside our studios. Here's Greg Thompson in the Weather Center. Greg?
Thanks, Christina. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Warmer conditions around the islands today as temperatures made it up into the upper 70s. We're now into the low 70s. 72 is our current temperature outside our studios. With a few clouds, we'll call it mild. Winds are out of the east at 9 knots, a little bit on the breezy side. Feels like temperature in the low 70s. Satellite view around the islands. We have some cloudiness across the northwest and central Bahamas and some near the deep south. That's a remnant front hanging out near the southeast Bahamas, some moisture coming off the Atlantic. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, an initiative to bless struggling families with essentials, plus a Paradise Island development to create hundreds of new jobs. That's coming up when our news returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Cheer. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis touring the multi-million-dollar Hurricane Hole project that has kept nearly 200 workers employed during the pandemic. There will be 500 permanent jobs once the 13-acre Paradise Island location is fully built out by 2024. Phase 1 of the project, developed by Sterling Global Financial, is set to be complete by next month, according to Financial Chairman David Kosoy.
The first phase, which is here, is opening in January. This will open in January. The second phase is the marina, which right now we're 3 months ahead of schedule, will open in July. But this will be occupied in January, both residentially, commercially, and retail-wise. So that's phase 1.
And the redevelopment of the Hurricane Hole Marina site includes 3 phases. Phase 1 covers repairs to the existing 90-slip Hurricane Hole Marina, the construction of 16 residential units, 15,000 square feet of office space, 20,000 square feet of commercial retail, and 2 restaurants. The second and third phases include construction of 50 to 70 residential units and townhomes, respectively. The Prime Minister hailed the $250 million Hurricane Hole project as a sign of continuing investor confidence despite the COVID-19 pandemic.
What the project does is shows the confidence the investors have within the Bahamas. Then Kosoy came to the office and explained what he wanted to do. I reassured him that the government would support him throughout the project to ensure that it comes to fruition. And as you can see, in spite of the delay by the COVID pandemic throughout the world, they were still on course and continued with the program.
In other news, Kalina and Cable Bahamas giving students the gift of virtual learning this holiday season. Giorgio Bain reports.
There was an outpouring of thanks by the recipients of tablets here at the ministry, who said that they could not provide these devices due to hard times caused by COVID-19. This as the Minister of Education revealed that some parents are attempting to defraud the educational system by applying for multiple devices.
I am quite disappointed that it is now discovered that there has been some deceit exercised by individuals in the distribution of these tablets. For instance, some parents or guardians would go to one school and get a device and try to go to another school and get another device.
Dakota Butterfield was sent home from her cooking position at the Atlantis Resort back in March. Her son was forced to use her cell phone and the neighbor's Wi-Fi for classes.
It was a constant struggle. When I would see him struggle like that, I became disappointed in myself.
Meanwhile, this father of 6 has been out of work since March. After schools moved to a virtual platform, his children had to share their parents' cell phones to complete assignments, and the family frequently purchased data packages until they received a call from Rev.
And they also provided my kids with 2 tablets. So I would say that it's an awesome thing. I was so happy. And then they also connected me for free for the year.
After hearing the stories of the 2 recipients, Cable Bahamas Group CEO Franklin Butler said he fully understands the importance of the Connectivity for All campaign.
Connectivity for All is fulfilling its mandate of bridging the digital divide and putting vital technological resources in the hands of students and families who need it most. So far, we have approved more than 400 families representing over 500 students across the Bahamas.
Director of Corporate Communications for Kalina, Maxine Seymour, hopes that the company's donation of $10,500 will help to nurture students' dreams.
Engineers, business persons, physicians, and teachers of tomorrow are currently lagging behind their peers, not due to restricted ability, but simply because they lack connectivity. This is completely unacceptable, and we are pleased that today our $10,500 donation will provide access to virtual schooling.
Reporting for our News, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
And the need for food assistance continues as single parents, furloughed workers, and unemployed Bahamians struggle during the COVID-19 pandemic. Family Guardian joined hands with 2 feeding programs to give back. Jillian Gray reports.
With 4 kids and 1 adopted daughter, Cherise Fernandez said she struggles to put food on the table daily. This is not a new challenge for her, though, as she says she's been on social assistance since 2003. Fernandez said though she has been looking for work, the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown a new curveball in her job hunt.
Some of the jobs that I go to, today is not hiring because of COVID-19.
It's the pooled assistance from social services, her mother, and her church that gets her by.
Sometimes they help us out too with groceries and school supply, Christmas presents.
Things have also been rough for single mother of 3, Anne. She, like Fernando, received a grocery package from Family Guardian and said that assistance will go a long way.
This is going to help a lot, really a lot.
Have you been working throughout the pandemic?
Something like that. You know, they have us on days and a couple hours a day.
Atlantis worker Natasha Cantor has been out of work since the pandemic destabilized the tourism industry back in March. The cook said she plans to share the little she's gotten.
Right now I'm going to share with my family with this. I'm not just going to keep it for myself because I know once I extend, God will increase.
Family Guardian partnered with Great Commission Ministries and the Bahamas Feeding Network to give out 625 packages.
Persons who are affected during COVID-19. Most of our donations that we have given out so far was directed towards those persons, and as a result of that, we have included in this package enough to feed about 6 persons in the family. And what we want to do is also include it in that as a reserve as well. And we want to be able to reach out to our people knowing that they're hurting.
The pandemic has caused a major increase in the amount of people coming to the Great Commission Ministry for hot meals and grocery.
What is heartbreaking part is there's such a great increase of persons who need shelter, who are homeless, some who are living in vehicles, abandoned buildings with them and their children. And so that is really a great need for us at this time.
Family Guardians say they count it as a part of their corporate responsibility to help those in need, and said if they can make some families' Yuletide season a little bit brighter, then they would have accomplished that goal. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
When Our News comes back from the break, a young man forced to make a tough decision. The details when Our News returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Cheer. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
This is our news. Welcome back. A young father is sharing the story of his brush with death that saw him lose both of his legs. The DJ and computer technician wound up in hospital and under the care of a former minister. Jared Higgs tells us more.
I want to be able to walk with my daughter and care to the park because we normally used to do a lot of things together.
34-year-old Charmin DeVoe is inspired by his 7-year-old daughter as he contemplates life as a double amputee. DeVoe is lucky to be alive after contracting leptospirosis, a disease caused by contact with rat urine. DeVoe was very ill and ended up in hospital for 3 months.
The time inside the hospital, I mean, it wasn't a really good time. And I couldn't sleep a lot. There's a lot was going on because then when I woke up out of the coma, I couldn't remember how I got in that state.
DeVoe's health woes started in June with severe stomach pain. After becoming more sick, the father of one fell into a coma and came under the care of former Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands. He flatlined 3 times and he even questioned whether he would make it. In the worst cases, leptospirosis can cause death. Sands gave the man a choice, his legs or potentially his life.
It really did something to me when they said it, like I started to cry.
DeVoe made the harrowing choice to have his legs amputated. He says it's something nobody wants to go through.
Dr. Sands had talked to him and he was telling me that I was seriously sick. So he didn't know I was going to make it, but he wasn't going to give up on me. And he keep pushing and pushing, and I started to get a little better. But it was a very, very, very long battle.
DeVoe credits his physician, Dr. Dwayne Sands, for saving his life and helping him deal with the mental anguish he went through.
Sands confirmed to Our News that a donor has come forward to cover the cost of DeVoe's prosthetic legs. It's good news for the father of one, who's also known as DJ Flex. He's also in much better health now and doesn't require medication. He says he struggled mentally for a while, but now he thinks he could even help others. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Thanks, Jared. In sports tonight, Thursday Night Football kicks off Week 14 of the NFL season. Marcellus Hall has that.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome to our Sports on a Friday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. If you wonder why we got Tua Tagovailoa behind me, it's because he's on the big stage this coming weekend. We'll get to that in a little while. Meanwhile, let's talk about last night's Thursday Night Football game that kicks off yet another exciting week of the NFL. Thursday Night Football coming your way last night as the New England Patriots rolled in to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's just say this thing did not go very well for the Patriots at all. Cam Newton having his issues. Meanwhile, the Rams had no issues at all scoring. As a matter of fact, even scoring on defense with a pick 6. They go on for the easy win here. 24-3 ends up being your final score. Rams improved to 9-4. They're first place in the NFC West. Patriots, their playoff hopes are all but done. They're 6-7, way down the way in the AFC. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's coming up for you on Sunday as the NFL season continues. As we mentioned, of course, Tua Tagovailoa plays the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. Should be an interesting matchup. Don't forget tonight, NBA preseason gets underway. Our guy Buddy Hield in action against the Portland Trailblazers. That's your check on sports. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. Well, the weekend is looking good. Our extended weather forecast is coming right up. Stay with us.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back to our news. It's looking like a beautiful few days ahead. Here's Greg back in the weather studio with the weekend forecast.
Thanks again, Christina. In our second look at weather, we take a look at our satellite view around the area. High pressure remains in charge of our weather across the area, generating some easterly breezes, bringing some moisture across the area in the form of some clouds. We saw some couple of sprinkles around the area. Frontal boundary still hanging out near the southeast Bahamas, and another one expected to enter the area sometime early next week. Your boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast, 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While in the central and southeast Bahamas, we have a caution flag posted for you guys down there. East to southeasterly winds, at 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Now a look at your extended forecast through Wednesday. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe night and a great weekend, everybody. Christina?
Thanks, Greg. Neighborhoods across the country will be banding together for National Cleanup Day on Saturday. Coordinator Superintendent Wilson Johnson says residents of Grand Bahama, Abaco, Eleuthera, and New Providence are set to participate in the We Are One campaign, an initiative of the National Neighborhood Watch Council.
And we're excited to partner with the presidents of these various communities and just to help clean up the Bahamas. You know, during the Christmas time, we have a lot of folks that, they get new stove, fridge, appliances. And so with that being said, we're looking forward to this, having a great time and helping and partnering with these folks who will be doing a national cleanup.
The campaign launched 3 weeks ago to foster a feeling of community and safety. Other activities include a National Day of Prayer on Sunday and a night of caroling on December 16th. And thanks for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night for our news weekend. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.